They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know who holds the future, and life is worth the living just because He lives.
Okay, we're on Genesis 29. Okay, we're going to start off right here. And when Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east, and he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flock, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth, and thither there all the flock gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place. And Jacob said to them, My brethren, hence be ye. And they said, Of Haran are we. And he said unto them, Know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, Rachel, his daughter, cometh with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, until they all roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. I want you to look at that. That's a picture of Jesus Christ. Then you get to be watered by Him. I like that. And while he yet spoke with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, and she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brothers, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tithes of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him. Okay, something's not... Okay, kissed him. And brought him to his house, and he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art bone and of my flesh. Well, let me go back. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abided with him a space of a month. Now, I want to get into this flesh and bone, but I can't, not yet. And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel's was beautiful and well favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee than that thou should give her to another man. Abide with me. He agreed. So he's going to work for him. Okay. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had for her. And Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zephyr his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is it that I have done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet another 7 other years. So he served for Rachel, but he got Leah. But now he's saying, Stay with me 7 more years, and you can have Rachel. I think that was wrong, really. I mean, that's kind of like what you get now out of the, government or anybody anymore. They tell you one thing and then they do something else. All right, let's go on. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved also Rachel more than Leah, and served with him yet 7 other years. So there's 14 years there. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, Surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction, and now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me his son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Now this time my husband will join unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bore a son. And she said, Now I will praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing. And when Rachel saw that she bore Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said to Jacob, Give me children, or else I'll die. And Jacob answered was kindly against Rachel, and he said, Am I in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knee, that I also have children by her. Here we go again. Here we go again. If you do not learn by your history, then you are destined to repeat it. So we got to do something different in this world. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife, and Jacob went unto her. And Bilhah conceived, and bore Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bore Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. And Leah saw that she had left bearing, and took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bore Jacob a son. And Leah said, a troop cometh. And she called his name Gad. Now, if you go by all these names, you are pretty sure to find out who these people really are in today's time. All right. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bore Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in days of wheat's harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them to his mother Leah. And Rachel said to Leah, give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband? And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, therefore, he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. Okay, from the looks of it, Rachel is saying, well, you give me the mandrakes, and you can sleep with Jacob tonight. Right? That's pretty well much what's being done here. And Jacob came out of the field in the morning. The evening, I mean. And Leah went out to meet him, and said, thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrake. And he laid with her that night. So she just told him, look, Rachel wanted my son's mandrakes, and I gave them to her, and you're supposed to be with me tonight, not with her. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and bore Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maid to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again, and bore Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, God hath endured with me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have borne him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterwards she bore a daughter, and called her name Dinah. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her, and opened her womb. And she conceived, and bore a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, the Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, and Jacob said to Laban, send me away, that I may go into my own place, and to my own country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go. For thou knowest my service which I have done thee. And Laban said to him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thy eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake. In other words, hey, tarry a little bit longer. I know the Lord's blessed me because of you. And he said, appoint me thy wage, and I will give it. And he said unto him, thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hast before I came, and it is now increased unto a multitude. And the Lord hath blessed thee since my coming. And now, when shall I provide for my own house also? Look, he said he's wanting part of the cattle so that he will be able to take care of the children and everything. And it's not, he's saying, look, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have what you got. And this doesn't go too well over with Laban. And 31. And he said, what shall I give thee? And Jacob said, thou shalt give me, not give me anything. If thou won't do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all thy flock today, moving from thence all the speckled and spotted cows, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled cow among the goats. And of such shall be my hire. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it came to pass for my hire, before thy face, every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen of me. In other words, he's saying, I'm going to separate everything, and all the speckled and spotted ones, and all, the spotted among the goats, and a brown among the sheep shall be counted stolen from me. In other words, they are not mine. And Laban said, behold, I wilt that it might be accounted to thy word. And he removed that day the he-goats that were ring speckled and spotted, and all the she-goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them to the hand of his son. And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob, and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flock. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar, and of the hazel and the chestnut tree, and peeled the white streaks in them, and made the white appear which was in the rod. And he set the rod which he had peeled before the flock in the gutters, in the watering trough, through the flocks come to drink, that they would conceive when they came to drink. So in other words, he took this right here and he peeled the bark off of it and set it down there so they could see it every time they drink. And the flocks conceived before the rod, and brought forth cattle ring-struck and speckled and spotted. And Jacob did separate the lamb, and set the face of the flock towards the ring-spotted, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flock by themselves, and put them not into Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle and the gutters, and that they might conceive among the rods. And when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and the maidservants, and manservants, and camels, and asses. So he was doing a whole lot better. Okay, and we are going to stop right there. This right here is 31. We'll come back to next time we're on Genesis. Now, I want to try to do a different type of Bible next week. Or, not next week, tomorrow. Blah. But I want to try to do something different tomorrow. But when we come back, it will be on Matthew 24. And that's a popular chapter there. But I want to do something different. I've been working on it. this is how to donate to my PayPal. You come down here to Poor Man's Sewing, and you mash on Poor Man's Sewing. Then you go over here to About. You mash on About, and right here is to donate to Poor Man's Sewing. Thank you. I appreciate everything that is donated. It will go to the sewing shed that we are working on, or anything that you want me to put it on there, just leave a note on there and I will see what it says. And I really do appreciate you donating and watching my channel. A lot of hugs and kisses to you.